the first 2023 NHL Draft profile of Judd'z Budz for the year. We have Oscar Fisker Molgaard, which is just a fucking sick name. And Z, you got 10 minutes on this guy for us to sit under an hour. Let her rip. What do we know?
So I love this kid. Danish-born center, can play whatever, all three positions. He's at the point now where he's firmly in SHL, so he's playing in Sweden's version of the NHL after graduating there like mid-November. He only has, again, like people always look at the points for guys coming from the SHL. And they're like, what, like 2 points? That's crazy. Like Fabian Liesel, I think, had 1 goal when he got drafted out of the SHL. They don't play over there. It's really hard to fucking play. But he's been playing there bottom 6. He's a center. Fun fact, I cannot figure out how tall he is. I think I finally figured out how tall he actually is. So he looks tiny. Like he looks like the smallest human being alive. But apparently he's 6 foot. And it's because he's like 160 pounds. So fun. So this is going to be my first prospect to actually like write an article about for Smart Scouting. And I was just trying to figure out his height. And it was like Elite Prospect says 6 foot. Hockey DB says 5'10". The IIHF website says 5'8". I was like, how fucking tall is this guy? I literally need to type 2 fucking numbers. I'm gonna lose my mind. By now, I finally figured out in the SHL website he's 6 foot. 6 foot, 160 pounds. He is one kid in this draft class that is starting to really climb the rankings, where I think a lot of outlets will probably project him to the second round. I really think he could end up by the end of the year cracking the first round. He plays such a good two-way game where you look at the offense, and while he doesn't put up a ton of numbers playing in the SHL, what he's doing in terms of the plays he's making, the decisions he's making, where he puts himself on the ice, how he passes the puck, where he generally scores from. He's not going to be a guy that's going to put up a ton of goals in the NHL, but again, just where he is and where he like realistically puts up all of his shots is right in front of the net. Just a very projectable player that I think has like crazy high upside that he just hasn't tapped into, because you watch him play at the junior ranks and he is one of the best skaters in this class. And because of that, when he plays in the junior squad, like he torches these teams and 0 to 60 in like half a second. And he's got really crazy, like high-end skill, great hands that he doesn't really get to showcase in the SHL. But the reason he's kind of remained a mainstay for HV71 in the SHL is because he's adapted and figured out a way to stick, where he's very good defensively. He's one of the best face-off guys in that fucking league. And he just makes a whole lot of little plays that wind up really mattering. Like he's very good on the forecheck. The back check is high end. He kills penalties. No matter what, he kind of just makes himself fit in. And at this point, they can't, even though he only probably averages 8 minutes a night in the SHL, they can't really take him out, because all 8 minutes are like, all right, here are the minutes that like we really just don't want our high end players to play. Let's just throw Molgaard out there. And he does it exceptionally well. And again, you're talking about a kid that weighs 160 pounds, soaking wet, playing in a pro league at 17 years old. He's put up 3 fucking goals, which is just impressive in and of itself. But he just plays a very projectable game. The tools are all there. He's going to have to like bulk up a little bit and just get a little stronger, which naturally he will. But this kid is very, very fun to watch. The projectable game, the skating, like it's all there. So I think like he's not going to be a guy that's going to get drafted and play within the next 2 years. But if you let him marinate, I think his upside is really, really, really high. So I'm very bullish on this player. I'm probably higher on than a lot of people are. But I actually do think that I did see my buddies over at Elite Prospect. I think they ended up mocking him in their first round. So there you go. But yeah, and he's got a great name, and he's from Denmark. So obviously I love him.
Great name. So what's like a realistic range for him? Like not his total ceiling or total floor, but realistically, like what's the high low of where he ends up in this draft?
Oh, he could definitely turn himself into a between, like he could again, I guess realistically it depends on how the rest of the year goes, but this is a kid that could absolutely still crack the first round. That, coming into the year, you're probably looking at third, fourth, but I think just what he's done so far in this league as a 17-year-old, which is like insanely difficult. And I mean, when he goes down to the J20, playing in the juniors, he's over a point per game there too, but on a team that sucks. I definitely see a kid that, he could be one of those kids that no one's really heard about before the draft that ends up just having such a good year that he ends up breaking into that first round. Like, I think any good team that doesn't really need a prospect to come in right now, but you want a kid that, like, hey, if you let this kid, if you kind of just let him develop, you're going to get a really high impact NHL guy, like late in the first round. Cause again, most of those teams are very good. I think he could be a great pick. So I could see him again, and teams don't have to be scared because he is 6 foot. He's not 5'11".
5'8".
Yeah. Again, I'm actually really curious to like what he looks like as he does get bigger and like filling into that 6 foot frame. Cause again, he weighs 160 pounds right now. But again, the game is super projectable. He is very good on the forecheck. He's very good at the face-off dot, which teams are weirdly very fond of. And again, the game is just super projectable, and like his development too of the past couple of years is just skyrocketing. So I think this is a long-term, like definite top 6 potential, but no matter where he ends up in a lineup, I think he's going to be a very impactful NHL guy. So he's definitely, for me, someone to keep an eye on, and I would not be shocked if he ends up being a first-round draft pick in July.
So if he goes on a similar path, right? You don't see anything that shows you he's regressing, doesn't show you anything crazy to like totally pop compared to where he is today. Are you excited if the Wild or the Bruins take him in the 20s?
Where, I mean, it depends. Like 20, no, because
we don't know where they're going to finish up, right?
Right. If you take him like 26 and beyond, I'm like, yeah, that's yep. I mean, honestly, like realistically, like,
so that's your number. Like mid 20s is okay. Anything before that's probably a reach.
Yeah, and like as of right now, I guess, right? Yeah, and that's all. This is all projection. So
today,
but yeah, I just think he's an NHL guy. Like, no shit. Yeah. I think if you take him like 25 or like right now, you're nuts. Just that's just because like there's so many guys who are lighting it up for their draft year. This draft is fucking loaded.
So
like,
basically what you're telling me, Z, is that he has the Judd like second, third round steal written all over him.
Oh yeah, big time. If teams are afraid of him, but again, he's 6 foot, so maybe they'll just say fuck it.
It depends on what the final height comes in at. You don't know if it's going to stay at 6 foot.
Exactly. So, maybe what if he finishes the year 47 points in 2 games and 6'5", 310 pounds, all twisted steel. There you go. 187 pims. That's where his game's at.
Dude, what if he's a point a game but comes in at like 5'7"? No one will touch him.
Tough to see. That's not real. That's not possible. But yeah, so that's my guy, and we'll have videos. I'll send you the videos I have. He's awesome. I love him.
Yeah, everyone be on the watch. Again, special feature with Smart Hockey coming up for Oscar Fisker Molgaard.